Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Screencast for Sunday, December 12th. I hope you all had a good weekend as we go into our last week of school before winter break. I was up in Duluth this weekend and went to Bentleyville, and that was fun, but a little windy, but it was fun to see all the lights. Schedule of the week. Just a few things to point out. On Wednesday, December 13th, we will have our staff meeting, our professional development. I'll be talking about PBIS, starting to give some information about that so that eventually we can make a informed decision on whether that is something that we want for our school. If you are not a teacher, we still want your input. I'm going to figure out a way that I could share this same information with you too. So stay tuned for that. I will try to figure that out. Staff holiday breakfast on Friday. So looking forward to that. So looks like it'll be a good week. District supervisory meeting on Thursdays. Once a month, we have our district supervisory meeting. I thought I'd share a few things that came out of that. One thing, John Weiser talked about the enrollment report, and that really has a lot of demographic information. That's good to see. You can see how we compare to other schools as far as free reduced lunch, as far as ethnicity, numbers, things like that. So if you want to take a look at that, I included a link right on here, so go ahead and click on that. We talked about Peach Jar. Peach Jar is our online way of sharing information. One interesting that came out of that are outside organizations, whether that's football or other sports, and our community ed department have enrollment that's decreased, and they're wondering if that's because of Peach Jar and not getting that paper to families. So we might move a little bit more to a hybrid. No changes right this second, but just wanted you to be aware of that. A few other things that we talked about. Google Summit opportunity. That's on a weekend on March 10th and 11th. I had the opportunity to go to that a number of years ago in Edina, and when they hosted, and it is amazing. If you are interested in seeing what's happening with technology in other districts, or you want to learn a bit more about some different things you could be doing in your classroom, I highly recommend you take a look at that. I also included on here a tentative schedule. I don't know if you can totally see this, but there's a lot of different things that you can sign up for over those 2 days. So take a look at it if you're interested. Enrollment or signing up is free, but there's only so many spots, and it's in Bloomington. So it'd be nice to support our district and see what else is out there. Winter Pass assignments, I think it's this Monday. You're going to be able to sign up to pick the days to have a sub come in and do that. So just stay tuned for that. Also, when you get done with your Pass assessments, make sure when you turn them into Kathy Torito that you also put down the date of the assessment, or else she will email you saying, what is the date? So be aware of that. Radon testing, Tuesday through Thursday in our schools. They will be doing radon testing. No big concerns there as far as I know, just something that we always do just to make sure. So be aware of that. There'll be a PDF of more information in my email with the screencast link, just in case you want to take a look at that. Emergency procedures drill. Last week we had an emergency procedure drill. We went through a drill where we assumed that there was someone in the school that could be dangerous, and we had a teacher or a staff person call the office. That was Dave Beatty, who was in on the drill, saying he had seen someone. Michelle put in a lockdown, contacted me. I found this really beneficial. It really helped me think through some of the things we're doing, and we should always be thinking about that. So if there is an emergency, if there is something that's not right and you call the office, we'll put in a lockdown. We'll assume a command spot, which is usually me in my office. If not me, it will be Michelle or possibly Leanne too. We call the district. First, we call 911. And as soon as I can, I will give you more information. You might remember that I sent out I did a intercom announcement to check your email. Always trying to think about what's the best way to get that information out. So there's not a perfect way. If we have subs in the building, that's problematic to say check your email. But we're continuing to look at that. We can't be prepared for everything that could possibly happen, but we'll keep preparing and trying different things so we're as prepared as possible. Just some quick things to remember. If we go into a lockdown, stay off the office line. or the phone lines as much as possible unless you have to share information that we need to know. Stay in lockdown until you are informed otherwise, and I'll come on the intercom to say that, and use your best judgment. Even with all of these, we still have to think through threats and what we should be doing, and I'll share information as best I can, but you with your classes or staff, wherever you are, you have to use your best judgment on what you should do at that time. Just a couple of reminders of why we might have a lockdown. There might be a threat in the school. There might be a threat in the community. When I was at Valley View, we had something like that in the morning where we went into sort of a modified lockdown. There also might be a medical emergency in the building, and we locked down just so that, just to give wherever that medical emergency is space so that people can get in there, and kids won't be scared by seeing something if there's a medical emergency. And there's other things too. So I always want to be thinking about that, and just wanted to share a little bit of that with you. So I talked a little bit about PBIS, that we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. I thought I'd share just a bit more of a little bit about what PBIS and what it isn't. It's a process and not a curriculum, school-wide approach to discipline with common language. And I think that's something that we could really use at Westwood. I know that we all are doing great things in our classrooms, but to have more of a common language helps throughout the whole building and helps as kids grow up. And it's proactive and preventative, and it's team-based and data-based too. So there's a lot of positive things about it, but it's one of those things that has to be a good fit for our school. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. And one of the reasons I'm interested in pursuing this is I just think to have a little bit more systematic approach of how we're approaching discipline, how we're trying to teach our kids to do the right thing and to prevent problems before they happen. I think anytime we do something like that, it's a good thing. And I always keep in mind that PBIS is not a template. It is not something that they're cookie cutters, how I should say it. Every way of doing that is not the same in every school. It's tailored to your individual school. So love to talk to you more about that on Wednesday. And as I said, our non-teacher staff, I will figure out a way to present the same information to you so that you know what's going on. And I'm sure when we vote on this, all staff people, not just teachers, are involved in voting whether we will have PBIS at Westwood or not. But no matter what, if it's not PBIS, we, I think, really need to work on how we can do things more as a whole school and be more systematic. So anyway, stay tuned for more information on that also. Targeted services, as I said before, John Polhill will be our coordinator. I have not yet had any other teachers that have expressed interest in being part of Target Services 2 days a week. If you are still interested in that or thinking about it, talk with me. If we don't have staff that are interested in doing it, I understand that. There's a lot of things in our lives, but if we don't have staff that can help with that, then we'll have to pass on that again this year. And I understand that, but it would be kind of a shame too, because we definitely have kids that could use extra support. But I also understand we all have busy lives. If you're interested in hearing more about it, talk with me, shoot me an email, let me know, and I can give you a little bit more information on it. So I think it's a good thing, but it has to be staff that are willing to help with that. Finally, we have the last week for a few staff. Rachel Salloway has been helping in one of our sales classroom. Rachel, thank you for all you've done for stepping in. Jenna New will be returning from her maternity leave, and we really appreciate all you've done for our kids and helping in a pretty difficult room, so thank you. And also Dave Weinhardt and Carolyn Bell have been subbing as Parasevs combining to fill that position. We really appreciate your help. I have a feeling we'll see you around our building more because we know that you'll be subbing in other positions for paras this year too. So thank you to those. Jenna New will be returning into our sales program, and Molly Kumlin will be a para that will be taking over Dave and Carolyn's position for the rest of the year. So thank you to those people for all you've done to support our school. Well, that's all I have. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I look forward to seeing all of you on Monday. Take care, everyone.